Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, January 24th, 2025 edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. As usual, a reminder that we operate under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. At the beginning of the call here, we like to offer an opportunity for anyone on the call to introduce themselves. It's totally optional, so you don't have to. I will go first. I'm Caslin Fields, and I am one of the co-leads of this sub-project and also a co-chair of the special interest group, which the sub-project is a part of. And this is the Contributor Com sub-project of the Contributor Experience Special Interest Group in Open Source Kubernetes. What we do here is we are focused on making sure that everyone within the contributor community, folks who contribute to Kubernetes, know about the awesome stuff that's going on in the contributor community. We make sure that folks know about various contributor-related news, like important changes to the project or to processes that contributors use, or events coming up that are for contributors. Sometimes those have their own comms teams, but we like to help out with them. And then we also try to make sure that folks outside of the contributor community know about the awesome work that contributors are doing. And in this call, we will go over a bunch of the work that we're doing to support all of those things. Anyone else like to introduce themselves?
Certainly. I am Chris Short. I have been a co-lead of this project for some time now, and I've been around the project for even longer. So it's very nice to see you all. Mario, would you like to go next? I can't see your face though.
Hi, I'm Mario. I need to adjust. It's always in Zoom. In the other chats, I'm not that close to the camera. So, anyways, hi, I'm Mario. I am co-chair for SIG ContribEx. I also do a bunch of stuff in SIG Infra, mainly cost reporting and looking after the tooling of the conformance tests. And I am doing tech stuff for comms and Orga stuff. Pronouns he, him, company Kubernetes. And I think that's it.
Well done. Pronouns she, her. I put it on my name in the participants list in the Zoom.
Yeah.
And then forgot it everywhere else today.
Read the docs.
Would anyone else like to introduce themselves?
Hello,
Yeah, hi everyone.
Go ahead. I think Nishita was going to speak. Go ahead.
Hello everyone, this is Nishita. I'm happy to be here. Actually, I'm looking around for places to contribute. I've already asked Federico for a spotlight blog. I think he's busy. I'll ask him again. And I'm also learning Go. If there are any beginner-friendly tasks in Go, I would like to help. That's it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Maybe we should talk about coming up with some.
Yes.
And also maybe one of us should step in to help out with the spotlight stuff. I could do that.
You're busy.
Welcome.
I'm not, but maybe hand that off to me.
That would be great.
Anyways,
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry.
Anyway, other introductions. Welcome.
Yeah, hi. Uh, I'm Koti, so I'm working as a DevOps engineer. I spoke with Kathleen in the after last Zoom call. So I'm very much active in Python communities over the years, like last 5, 6 years. I've been volunteering and organizing a lot of PyCon conferences across the globe, like PyCon India, PyCon US, and PyCon Asia Pacific, and all those things. I'm pretty new to this Kubernetes community in terms of contributing. I mostly volunteered for on-ground volunteering for a lot of case studies which are happened in India, but I thought like, okay, there are some bridges and ways that you can contribute better and involve with this particular ecosystem. That's why I'm here. I'm looking forward to contribute to this ecosystem as well. Good to see all of you. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. An events person from another technical community who wants to help us out.
Like
I think we can do
this.
something with that.
Oh yeah. We'll try not to overwhelm you with stuff. Trust us. There's stuff to be done.
Would anyone else like to introduce themselves? Totally optional. I'll leave it open for a minute. All right then. Another reminder, this is a very casual call, as you have seen so far. So don't hesitate to speak up if you have a question or ping it in the chat. We do pay attention to the chat and make sure that we talk about those as best we can. And and if you want to introduce yourself later, if you didn't get to introduce yourself, feel free to just pop in and let us know if you have anything. And then final housekeeping item, we like to ask for a volunteer for the note taker position in our meetings. So the role of the note taker in the meeting is to follow along with the discussion that's happening in the call and take notes as best you can so that if someone missed the meeting and they want to catch up with what happened, they have notes to check on later, which we will probably do today as we check back on what happened last time. So is anyone up for taking on the role of note taker today?
Yes, I would like to. I'll try
Thank
to catch
you.
up as much as possible. Thank you.
Rocking it. Thank you for doing that. So Nishita, consistency, not the spice of life, but essential.
Mm, very good point.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, I think we are good to go then. Let's hop into our agenda. The first item is messages of the week, which we've been doing an amazing job of talking about and not the best job of implementing lately. So let's
Mm,
see if we can fix that this week. Now that a bunch of things have passed. We could start off by going over the things from last week. Does anyone have anything off the top of their head that they know is going on in the contributor community that contributors or the outside community should know about that's going on? I'm sure you have a ton of things, Mario, but maybe we'll go over the things from last time first and see what's relevant. All right. Last time was the 17th. So we mentioned that scholarships were due on Sunday,
done.
and we didn't post anything about that,
they're
I don't think.
they're gone though. So
Yep, but they're gone. So moving on. Sorry about that one, everyone. But there are other communications and things that go out about that.
yeah.
But would have been nice for us to highlight those.
Mm,
Moving on. Certifications prices are going up on February 4th. That one's still relevant, and we should throw that together. Maybe as part of this segment, I'll hop into Buffer today and do a couple of these. Because otherwise, it's not going to happen. I thought we'd have time at the end last time, and then we didn't, and then it didn't happen.
mm.
New contributor orientation was this week. Thank you so much, Mario, for leading Europe as usual and for posting in the new Kubernetes contributors Slack channel. I did post on social media right as the Americas one was starting. The nice thing about posting on social media for this one is that we can post a link to the playlist so folks can watch the recordings. So always relevant. We could post a reminder that the next one will be happening in a month. We should probably automate this. I think we were talking about that last time, Chris.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the tools that we use for automation, for folks who aren't familiar with them, are Zapier and Buffer, I guess.
Yeah. Buffer for social media, Zapier for damn near everything else.
And social media.
Right, exactly.
Zapier does it
Yes.
all. But I'll show off Buffer here in a minute, I think, if we can. Yearly SIG reports are due. That would be something good to put out into comms. There has been an email that went out, but we could do some stuff on social media. Granted, Chris and I were having a whole conversation about the state of social media.
I'm
earlier
actually working on that
this
blog
week.
post.
We could talk about that for the next 45 minutes easily.
Yes, we
But
could. Yes.
so these SIG annual reports are going to be due mid-February, I believe.
Yes, mid-February. We still have time, but we also need to write something up for comms to put it into ContribEx.
Yes. We should do that. A GCR.io thing is coming. Which
Yeah,
we're working
I
on.
updated. Updated it. It's in updates. It's in new items. There's this document. I don't know if you can open it.
Let's find out.
Huh.
I
Nice.
can.
Yeah, basically this is an email that will eventually go out to dev at Kubernetes.io. It's maintainer focused, but we could basically
Wait,
yes.
are we talking about all of GCR or just the Kubernetes part of GCR?
So all of GCR is going away in March 2025.
Got it. Okay.
However,
That's interesting.
yeah, but
I'm not sure if you're aware.
That's a well-known thing.
But the G in it is for Google.
Yeah, no. I've been working at a company with an A in front of it, so I've only paid attention to that. So yeah.
Yeah,
That's
no,
understandable.
they are moving it to, how is it called? Kathleen, you
Artifact
know this.
registry.
Yeah,
Yes, artifact registry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
It has an
basically,
A in front of it, so he knew about that one.
yeah. So basically, this is the reminder that we can move stuff. So there's the SIG infra will do the following. If you would like to migrate your staging repositories to blah blah blah, you can basically ping SIG infra. So this is more like if you still have stuff on GCR.io, SIG infra can probably help you move it, but do something is TLDR. So SIG infra will send out discoms to the mailing list, and then we could basically post this on the maintainer focus channels, maybe on social media. But yeah, that's the main part.
With something like this feels like adjacent to Jock or Shem as far as like the message we're conveying.
Not so much.
Might want to stick to just email on this one, just for safety's sake.
Yeah, maybe this, because otherwise
Or
people would
post
run.
or send the email and then post a link to the email on social media. That would work too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest is that.
Read this.
Yes, please read this.
In the Kubernetes community, there is some news about how we host images that has been shared with the dev mailing list. Make sure you check out that email. Something like that.
Yeah. Short, sweet, social, make it happen. Don't state anything in the social because we don't want to cause chaos.
Welcome, more folks.
Hello, apologies for the delay.
No worries.
No worries at all.
We are in messages of the week.
Early on I created the day template because I added one of the updates of the week. Not an update, new wins or whatever it's called.
Oh, nice. Updates and big wins. It's nice when we can use that section for the big wins. So we're going over the stuff from last week that mostly didn't get done and figuring out what's still relevant to try and do that. And we haven't posted about these things either, so we could still do this. So I was thinking about doing a buffer walkthrough when we're done with messages of the week, but we're already moving into new items and things. So GCR.io migration email FYI posts. Say it that way.
Sure.
So we've discussed that certification prices are going up on February 4th. It's still relevant to let the community know about that in case they're interested in CNCF certifications. Yearly SIG reports are due in mid-February, so we should post some reminders about that if we can. It's mostly for, well, it is just for SIG leads, so we can talk about which platforms we really do that on. We can just put it on the comms ones because it's good that we're doing that. But anyway, KubeCon EU schedule came out last week, and now the maintainer one comes out next week publicly, doesn't it? Or is it this week? Maintainer summit schedule, Mario?
Announcement will go out on some point next week, but it's not officially not yet out.
Yeah, I think it says on the website when it's going to come out.
Yeah.
Saw that a couple days ago. Maintainer summit schedule comes out next week. If our note takers or someone wants to bring up the KubeCon EU 2025 website, go to the project opportunities page and see if you can find when the maintainer summit schedule comes out and put that in the notes. That would be helpful. Also, KubeCon CFPs for Japan and China are open and they close on February 2nd. And India is also open and it closes on March 23rd. So it'd be nice to set up some reminders about those things. And then we were just talking about there's a migration for GCR.io. We've in the past used Google Container Registry for various aspects of infrastructure for the project. And that is migrating to Artifact Registry. So there's an email drafted, which Mario has in new items. And so that email will go out and we could post on social media that a message has come out. This is also for last week in Kubernetes development. So I don't know what folks might want to post in there, but they might want to say something in there as well. Any other messages of the week? Things going on in the community that we need to make sure that folks know about. Kubernetes Community Days was mentioned earlier. Should we post anything about those? We don't normally.
We don't
We
normally,
haven't.
and there's so many of them that it
This
would
is true.
be very hard. And sometimes they're like more meetup than one-off events, it feels like too. So I get those, hey, upcoming event emails from CNCF, and it's like 5 a day. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, this is true. The CNCF also handles comms for that really well.
Mm-hmm.
They are Kubernetes Community Days, and we are about communicating with the Kubernetes community. So I feel like there is an argument to be made there that we could, but
We certainly could, but there's just a lot of them. So we would need to find some kind of single source of truth to pull from.
there are some from the CNCF. There's a website where all of them are listed.
That I
So we
know.
could get that, but we'd still need a schedule of like post to post.
Bingo.
Someone would have to own that. I don't have capacity to take that on.
Nice do I.
But if someone wanted to, you're welcome to, and I could show you how to do it.
Yeah.
I'll put an idea. Not a message of the week, but new item concept. Someone schedule posts. Something like that. All right. Since we're in new items, any other new items that folks are aware of? Requests that came in for us, either through GitHub or on Slack, or The other stuff. Oh, there was something I saw in Slack actually just before this meeting, which is not exactly a new item, more of an update. But Michael McCune, I don't know how to pronounce his last name properly. Elmiko in Slack is the name that I know better.
Oh.
He's a SIG chair, one of the SIGs. He had reached out to us at the end of last year about a blog post that they wanted to create, asking us for help. We said to check in with SIG Docs to make sure that they had someone to review the blog post or something like that. They offered someone who's relatively new to it, but would be comfortable doing like proofreading and basic checks, which I think would be sufficient since our team could also help review that. So he pinged this morning, my time, I think, to ask about getting that moving. So I'll see if I can find the details on that.
Nice.
From Elmiko. Let's see. Maybe it wasn't in our group. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'll look into that later. That is a blog post that I was pinged on for some reason. So I'll figure that out.
Interesting.
Maybe I signed us up for more work. I don't know. But I was on that thread already. So I'm pretty sure that we had been asked for help on that. Maybe it wasn't in our
vaguely
channel.
remember it. Yeah.
Right. It feels familiar. Let's see.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think he had talked with me directly about it. Maybe actually at KubeCon.
Oh, nice.
They have a draft already. Let's see. What is this draft? Cloud Controller Manager chicken and egg problem. Seems
Oh,
like a cool
yeah.
thing.
It
This is
does seem like a
long.
cool thing. This is very long. I wonder if we could
I
probably.
think there's extra stuff in here.
Yeah, the to-do stuff, examples, like that would be great to link to, I feel like, in a GitHub repo somewhere so that can be properly maintained.
Yeah, I think it ends here at this line, really. And that's
Well,
not
that's not
too
bad.
bad. It's on the long
No,
side of a blog post, but not too bad.
no.
Yeah,
We've
that's
seen
helpful.
worse.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So I think the request on this one to help get it moving is for someone from our group to review it, if we can.
And wait, is it? Oh, I just got to scroll down.
I still don't know what SIG that is.
Wait, where's the doc? Sorry.
Cloud Controller Manager. Oh, I didn't put it in yet. Here it is.
You?
I don't know who owns the Cloud Controller Manager.
Um,
SIG Cloud Provider? But isn't that spinning down?
yeah, that should be spinning down. So it's someone from the EU based on spelling, or UK, I mean, based on spelling.
It'd be interesting to see how many of our blogs have European spelling
Oh,
versus American spelling.
yeah, who knows?
How many
Let's
S's
see.
and Z's are there?
And O's versus OU's.
Oh, yep.
Mhm.
Definitely prefer the European. Well, I like both
Yeah.
spellings of color at different times. If I want to feel fancy, put the U in there.
Well, I'm trying to figure out which SIG they're in. I
It
can't.
doesn't actually matter. It's just an interesting tidbit to know which thing it is, but we could also just ask them.
Right. I do have a DM window open, so yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just poke them real
you could do
quick.
that. That would be lovely. Thank you. If you want to review a blog post, Chris, you have
Yes,
time.
like I'm
That would
totally
be
up
great.
for it.
Do
It
you want to
might
write
not
some
be
social media posts?
today. I mean, so were we going to discuss the buffer thingy at some point?
We should. We should try.
Okay,
So let's move on to updates and big wins and see if we can come back to that. So
sure
updates
thing.
and big wins, Frederico.
Yes, I mean, and it's not that's a big win, but considering the substantial
is.
amount of time that it's been
Mhm.
almost there, it seems a bit like one. So the SIG architecture enhancements blog spotlight interview, sorry, was finally published. So that's at least it's one thing less that we have to track in our boards. I've moved it to the done part. So yeah, that's it.
Yay! Love to see a blog getting published. Every blog that's published is a big win. So
Is there
congratulations, Frederico. Go ahead.
a SIG cluster architecture, SIG Arch? I know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where the doc is for Cloud Controller Manager.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Figured
we
that.
did just talk about SIG architecture enhancements blog getting published. So there's definitely a
Yeah.
SIG architecture, but I think SIG cluster architect
Could be,
cluster.
yeah, it could be
There's a
life
CA
cycle. It could
something, isn't there?
be cluster.
Life cycle.
Well,
That's what it is.
yeah.
We've done a blog post on that as well, I think. Wonderful, though. Thank you, Frederico, for doing that work. And you had 2 more left in that series?
Yes, I mean, I have at least one more, which is the one that's being transcribed, and I'm actively working on that one because it's a video. You know, this it's a video interview, so it takes a bit more time. But I think that by next week or something, I should have it near completion. And then I had the idea of having like a capstone one, kind of a general, but it's an optional thing. With the next one, which is on an API, I would say that the core part of the series is done because we by then we will have had covered all the SIG architecture sub-projects. Whether we do a final one or not, it's up to us to decide. But either way, with that last one, I'm calling it a job well done.
Nice. And for folks who are not familiar with SIG Spotlights, a SIG Spotlight usually is just a single one-off blog post talking about the SIG in general, but occasionally the SIGs will have an interest in us doing multiple blog posts about their different sub-projects or however they want to split up the content about their SIG. So this is one of those where it ended up getting split up into several blog posts, and Frederico has been working on it for like multiple years at this point. At least 2 years, right? A year.
Right.
Now that you mention it, now that I'm not sure if that sounds impressive or depressing, but
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
A little of both. It is both because sticking around to get that done is amazing and valued, and we really thank you for doing that. And also, these take a while sometimes.
Hmm.
Which is why it's nice when it's just a single one-off instead of a series like this, because it can be difficult to get them done. But Frederico's the boss, so he gets it done eventually.
Is the boss.
As is
100%
open
that
source's
boss.
way. Truth. Oh, and one other thing from earlier in the call for you, Frederico, since that you are here and we're talking about SIG Spotlights. One of
Yep.
the newer folks on the call is interested in taking on a SIG Spotlight blog and had mentioned that they pinged you, but hadn't heard back yet. So
I
there are folks who
think
want to get
I've
started.
replied in the morning, so maybe
Yes,
that's
yes,
it.
I saw just now. I saw just now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Welcome to
No worries.
Friday, the day that we
Yeah.
have the meeting and things happen.
Exactly. Yes,
Bingo.
sorry, I actually saw your Slack message like 2 days ago, but I was doing something else, and then I didn't address it yesterday. But today in the morning, I've sent you something. I mean, it's like I said, that's the way to do it. You can either do it yourself, or I can do that initial step of going into the channel, or whatever you prefer. Just tell me in Slack. We don't need to do it here, and I'll help you throughout the rest of the process.
Yeah, understood. I'll tell you in Slack. Thank you.
Perfect. And thank you, Federico, for demonstrating what it's like to work in open source. You ping the person, and then they don't respond for a few days, and then you try again, and then eventually it'll work. And maybe you have to
Exactly.
attend a meeting.
Exactly. Perfect. Yeah, that was an unintended side effect of being busy with other things. But yes, if I don't reply at the first time, me and others just insist that it's not out of not wanting to reply. It's mostly because I forgot because of other stuff. So yeah.
This is also true for the SIG chairs. When you do a SIG spotlight blog, this happens all the time where you ping them and they're like, that sounds good. I'm doing other stuff right now. I don't know how to make this happen. And you're like, oh, well, I've got this questions doc for you. Just fill it out. And then you usually have to ping them a couple of times to get it all the way done. So be prepared that this will happen again.
Asynchronous communication is the best.
Yes, but also slow and stops and starts. So
There's
good
that.
to know about. Any other updates, big wins? I feel like I had something that I was gonna mention here, but it might have just been the El Mico thing. I was thinking belonged here more than in the other place, but it's fine where it is. Um, any other updates, big wins? We'll see if we remember more stuff later. So at this point, we could go into the board, and we established last time that there's a lot of stuff in the board that needed attention, but we did a nice run through of that last time, and we were saying that we wanted to do a buffer overview last time, and we didn't get to it, and we missed several messages. So I'd like to go ahead and do a buffer overview if folks are okay with that.
Can I make one suggestion about Buffer and the Blue Sky accounts?
Ooh, yes, that is the other update that I had. Because things happen on Friday,
Oh,
I
good.
don't go that far yet.
Oh, bad.
Um, I was looking at it last night because I pinged on Tuesday to see if I could get some attention on it. No one had noticed it
Mhm.
this week. So I noticed there was an escalate button.
Oh, you pushed it?
So I pushed it. I pushed it, and we'll see if anyone
It-
notices that.
So you escalated and no one has noticed in a week, is what I'm hearing.
No, I escalated at like midnight last night.
Oh, okay, cool. So I
Yeah.
say, well, here's an idea. On the principle of sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness. If they haven't touched it by this time next week, add the accounts. It'll bill them. Everything will be fine because we can say we escalated and we hadn't heard anything and doing social's hard. Just an
This is
idea.
true. I don't know if that'll work as smoothly as it sounds like it will, because the the way that the billing on the account works, every time I ask for, uh, additional funding for it or something,
Hmm.
I think they, like, set up a card with, like, that much on it, maybe?
Oh, really? Okay. That
Because
would
they
be
ask
the one
for
downfall of this
exactly
idea.
yeah, they ask for exactly how much it is to make sure that they'll have enough when they put the
Mm,
thing on the account, and then they ask for access to the account, and then they, like, update the credit card on it. So,
okay.
I
Hmm.
suspect they may have it kind of, like, separated out into its own bucket, and so if
Y-
they bill them, I don't think they get any of the billing emails. I think it comes to our accounts.
Oh, dear
So,
God.
it would bill them quietly, and then they would just have an extra charge on there that they wouldn't know about, and then that would cause problems. So we might not be able to guerrilla that way, but we may have other options for guerrillaing.
Yes, that sounds okay. So yeah, the two downfalls of that is like if they're using like a virtual credit card with an actual limit, like you mentioned, and a breakdown in communication, and they're doing their numbers, and all of a sudden something doesn't add up, and they have to go figure out why. Meanwhile, there's
Yeah,
this
that'd
ticket
be
with
no
all the
fun.
information sitting there. Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. So I haven't done much pinging of people directly in the CNCF. I'm sure if I ping people directly, they'll answer. So I think that's our next escalation step.
Yep, we can use my idea as a last resort.
Always good to have a last resort in mind.
Mhm.
Cool. So was there other stuff about Buffer or Blue Sky that you
No,
wanted to
that's
go over?
it.
Just that. Okay. Cool. So are folks good with doing a Buffer overview? Teaching folks how to do social media. Cool. We'll do that real quick. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second to make sure that I log into Buffer properly. Because I haven't done that yet on this profile this year. Sometimes I do it on my work profile. Okay, it just logged in directly. I thought it might do that. I could have just left it up, but whatever. All right, folks. So we're going to do an overview of Buffer. Our queue is empty. That's not good. We've sent 972 though. That's cool. So this is a tool that we use to manage all of our various social media accounts. So as the owners of social media for the open source Kubernetes project, any kind of social media account that the project owns, we manage through this platform ideally. So right now we have in it 2 X accounts. Those were our first accounts back in the Twitter days. Our very first account was the Kate's contributors account on Twitter, and that was created to be a way to reach a lot of contributors who hung out on Twitter. Um, Specifically about contributor news, Kate's contributors, because that is the audience of that account. Um, or before that existed, there was the Kubernetes IO account on Twitter, and that has like I don't know what it has now. It's been dropping. It used to be over 300,000 followers on Twitter, and that was owned by the CNCF, and they like paid a contractor to manage that account, so it wasn't community owned. But it was active until it wasn't. Something went wrong. There were some shenanigans where like they didn't work with that contractor anymore or something. And so the account went silent for like a year and a half, maybe year and a half. And finally, someone pinged the Kubernetes community and was like, "Hey, if nobody's going to run this, could we do something about that?" We'll say it that way. And so our team ended up taking over that account eventually. So we have both of those now. Granted, state of social media. Maybe we'll talk about that later. In the shenanigans around social media that have been happening in the world over the last couple of years, Mastodon was one alternative to Twitter that became fairly popular with some portions of our contributor community. And so we created an account there. It's probably our least active account. There's a few folks in our community who really like Mastodon, but it's not a majority or anything like that. But we do still have that account. We also, 2 years ago, a year ago, feel like I can't tell time on this at all. Took over the
1 year.
LinkedIn account. Was it a year ago? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it wasn't 2. But we took over the LinkedIn account for Kubernetes, so it's a company page basically on LinkedIn. The way that LinkedIn works is a little bit weird and awkward. But we took over that, and we have the ability to post through it using Buffer. And then a more prominent alternative to Twitter that has popped up over the last couple of years of social media shenanigans is Blue Sky. And Blue Sky was really kind of taking off with our community at the end of last year. And so there's a lot of Kubernetes contributors on there now. We created accounts in November, I guess, of last year before KubeCon, and within the 2 weeks that we created it before KubeCon, less than that, maybe like 1 week, we got a lot of followers on those accounts. So we created 2 accounts on Blue Sky. We created one that's an equivalent of Kubernetes IO, so it's for end users, anyone in the general public who wants to know what's going on with Kubernetes. And then we have a Kate's contributors account on Blue Sky. So what we were just talking about with the CNCF request is adding those 2 accounts to this tool, because each account you add to this tool has a cost. So that's the basic overview of what this tool is. Now, here's how to use it. We don't have any posts scheduled right now, which is interesting. When was that SIG architecture blog post published, Mario or Frederico? That was earlier in the year, right? Or earlier in the week. Can't words today. Guess I could check it. Kubernetes.io. Kubernetes.io. Blog. So the SIG architecture spotlight that came out on Tuesday. So we have automation that posts about it every time that there's a new blog post. So the reason I was asking about that is to see, should we have one in here? But that would already have been sent. There was one about last week in Kubernetes development, came out yesterday, which we don't have the last week in Kubernetes development social channels in here. They have their own social channels. They're kind of like a sub-project of our sub-project. So that's something that we need to debate as a group, is if we manage those as well. But that would make the cost of the account even higher. And we're getting up close to $1,000 a year. So something we have to think about. But anyone is welcome to help us manage this social media. Please do. If you are interested in helping create social media posts and stuff, I would just need your email, send it to me, and I will invite you to the team that manages these accounts on Buffer. So you would just use your own personal account to log into Buffer, and you would switch which team you're working in. I can show that here. So I have my personal account. I log in and it takes me to my personal account, which has a couple of my accounts in it that I don't actually use. And then I go over to the Kate's contributors organization. This is what it's called. And then I can see all of the Kate's contributors and Kubernetes stuff. And then in order to create a post, since there's no post here, you can do new post here. You can also do the new icon here in the upper right hand corner, new post. And so then you select which channels you're going to post to. You can only select one of the X channels at a time, which is good in a way because they have different audiences. So often we don't post to both of them for the same message. But you'd select which of these accounts you want to post to. Say you have some contributor thing that you want to post about. LinkedIn we consider to be both contributors and end users. So you can, I'd say it's primarily end user, but sometimes we'll use it for contributor news as well. It's fine to use it. So say that you have some message that you want to send out to contributor-facing social channels. You would select those channels, or if you're doing it for end users, it would be these 2. And then you say, the Kubernetes community is doing a cool thing. Write whatever you need to write. And then it has this customize for each network button at the bottom. You click that and it shows you what that looks like on each of those. If you have like an image or something, it'll show you that preview. If you want to include hashtags, or if you want to tag individual accounts in here, you can do that. Of course, LinkedIn and Twitter, the way that those tags work is different. Actually, the tags don't work for LinkedIn through Buffer. So that is what it is. But so you'd do any customization for the specific social media platform that you're working with here. And then you can either add to queue, or if you click this little drop down, well, actually, you will have a different button. Yours will say submit for review, but you can also schedule it somehow. My view is different. But you can say when you think that post should come out, and then add it for review. So then I have review privileges. Chris has review privileges. Maybe a couple of other folks do. Mario does. So ideally, let us know in Slack because this doesn't happen very often. Sadly, I wish it happened more often. But, to let us know that you submitted something for review, and then we'll go in and review it. We can make little edits if there's any like proofreading, spelling, any of that stuff that needs to be fixed. If there's anything big about it that we want fixed, we can let you know and iterate on it. But you can't mess anything up, is the message. So if you want to help out with social media, get involved, write some things, submit them for review. If it's good, then we'll post it. And if it's not good, then we won't. And you won't have any negative consequences of that. So join us in social media land. So once you have created that post and gotten it approved and scheduled, then it'll show up in the queue, which you can't see any of because we don't have any. This is our queue for all of the channels. But there's also queues for each individual one. Yeah. So if you just clicked add to queue in mine, in yours, it probably looks slightly different. But there's a way that you can just say, hey, Buffer posted it the next time that you think is a good time to post something. And so these are the buckets that it has, and it has different buckets for each different social media platform based on when they think that platform is most active. So you don't have to decide exactly when the thing goes out. You can let Buffer decide that. And yeah, that's the basics of Buffer. Any questions? Cool. Thank you for bearing with me as we did a Buffer overview. We have 8 minutes left, so I could try to schedule a couple of posts that we actually need done. But I think let's go over to the board real quick and check on things there. Yeah, we've talked about that a couple of times, that we need to clip the Buffer overview and put it somewhere. You're right, Arpit.
Yeah,
Arpit,
no,
are you
I think
interested in YouTube?
I can do that. I can do that. I'm a YouTube
Yeah.
admin and I can grab it even if I wasn't a YouTube admin. So yeah, I can flip that up and off we go. Where to put it, I'm not sure, but yeah.
I'm going to put that into new items. Clip the Buffer overview for YouTube. But also, if you're interested in YouTube, we do need more YouTube admins. Chris is a YouTube admin and could show you the ropes.
I am
Yeah.
handling our YouTube channel, so I am interested in
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
Yeah, I thought you had gotten involved
currently,
with that in the past.
Cool.
No,
Alright.
actually, I'm handling a YouTube channel for someone as a freelance.
Mm.
So I would like to
Oh.
help with the Kubernetes YouTube as
Okay.
well.
I'll mention that
I
in
think we've
our
talked about you being interested in that in the past, maybe.
Yeah. Sadly, yes. I mean,
The end
it's
of last
good
year was
that you want to be. Yeah.
madness.
End of last year was no fun.
Perfect. Thank you, Arpit, for being interested in that. Thank you for joining, Mario. Cool.
Thanks,
So
Mario.
let's do a quick overview of the board. In Ready for Review, we have the Policy Working Group Spotlight. There is a PR there for that. And the current status of this. Rujval was asking about how to make this into something for Kubernetes IO as well. Frederico or Chris, could either of you offer some guidance for Rujval on how to get this posted on both? It's in the contributor site, and they were saying they wanted to do it on both, and Tim has been completely overwhelmed lately. So
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Contributor site pull. Yeah, I just got to find the URL. That's all, but I got it.
Oh, I could put it in the chat.
Oh, well, interestingly, it's in my chat history. Okay.
Maybe we
so
talked
I've
about it
been
at some point.
there. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Federico?
Nothing. I mean, I was going to try to say something, but I saw that it was already being addressed. But if I can, uh, what is the specific article that we're talking about?
The working group policy
Uh,
spotlight.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Seems like it's pretty much ready to go. There was just a question about how to post it on the 2, and then Tim was kind of busy.
Yeah.
It was the end of the year, so it got kind of dropped. And
Yeah. Okay. So and there's a contributor site PR, and is the website PR also opened or?
It
Not
looks
yet.
like Arujval hasn't done that yet.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, I think this is something that we would need to perfect, because I think it's a bit iffy. But when we open the one of the PRs, typically the contributor side PR, at least when it's not work in progress, then we need to open the website PR at the same time, which is a bit of a bore, because then you also get feedback from that website PR, even though we should add in the opening comments that please direct your comments to the contributor site PR, because this one will be overwritten with the final state of the contributor site. So this is the way to do it. Just open one in the site with the current copy of the contributor site one. There's a slight change in the file, because the file needs to go into a different place in the website directory structure. Referencing the I think it's easier if I, for example, share in the chat an example of an article that's in both, or just go into the boards and open any one that's done. It should contain links to both.
Cool. Yeah.
Noted.
Feel free to type it up, and I will ping a Rougeval with it.
Wonderful. We have 2 minutes left. The next one on the ready for review column is the SIG etcd spotlight. And that's Federico.
Yep. Yes. So that's I still have a couple of additional things to change, but I've addressed the initial comments, because there were a couple of missing images and links there. They are already there. I hope to have it to remove the work in progress tag and open the website PR during the next couple of days. And that's the status.
Excellent. So that'll be a nice example for anyone who's working on a Spotlight blog. Check out the SIG etcd Spotlight one. It's about to go through the process of publishing. Maybe good to see. Excellent. So that's the ready for review column. That's the most important one to go over. Blocked and waiting is short, so I'll look at that real quick. Help wanted posts. I don't know when we're ever going to do that. AI rules and establishing a process to prevent duplication in LWKD articles. One other thing that I wish that I had gotten done before our meeting this time was setting up the KubeCon posts document for EU. I think we might have the tab already, but needs to have the schedule updated. So let's try to have that done for next time. I'll put that in the notes. And any other last minute items?
I have submitted the draft for steering blog.
Yay!
Oh, thank you.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see that one.
I tagged Federico, but didn't get a response back. I think he's busy.
Got more work to do, Federico.
Yeah, I posted it publicly in the Slack channel, so it is here. Anyone can review it, and that's the first draft.
Okay.
I need to create hyper. Yeah. I need to create hyperlinks in that, but that's the first draft. If anything that you find can be changed or improved, you can ping me and then I will create the hyperlinks and send the final one.
Yeah, perfect. Will do.
Awesome. Thank you, Arpit, for seeing that through. That's going to be amazing. We should do some posting of that, and we should, when it comes time for the steering elections later this year, we should make sure to share that a little bit more too. Wonderful. This is pretty. Is this what HackMD looks like? I should use HackMD more.
Yeah, no kidding. I always can't
All right.
decide where to write Markdown, like the first draft. Like I have like 7 tools that are possible. So now it's 8.
Agreed. All right, it's a minute after, so thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. Unless there are any last minute items for the recording, I'm going to end the recording and we'll say goodbye to our friends on YouTube. All right, bye, YouTube.